What's up, everybody? It is halftime for Vikings and Lions. It's been an amazing first half uh, of football action. This is Purple Update Live. I'm your host, Joe Johnson, owner of VikingsTerritory.com and purplePTSD.com. I've had about 5 energy drinks at this point, so I'm walking on sunshine. And wanted to chat with you guys a little bit about the first half of action. If you're new to the show, I can see your comments, your chat comments. So if you have any questions or comments about the first half, let me know. But what a great first half of football. The first thing that was encouraging to me was, if you were around for the pregame show, I talked about the secondary and what to do about the Rhodes situation. And as far as I could see, I know that Rhodes obviously didn't start the game. He is active. He has his equipment on. He has a mouth guard in his mouth. I'm trying my best to find a snap count, a live snap counter. I will have that information after the game, but I haven't seen him out there at all. At least I haven't heard his name called, but I've also been doing like 50 other things. We are doing a live chat right now on both VikingsTerritory.com and purplePTSD.com, so if you want to move from this to that for the second half of the game, that'd be awesome. Tang, Walter, Calvin, Randy, I'd love to have you guys, and you don't even need to make an account. You can. It'd be cool. You could join our message board. We have actually a lot of really cool stuff in regards to message boards and user groups and like our own like internal Twitter system. If you go to the live chat, I'll explain it. But yeah, things, I mean, are looking good. The fact that, the argument this week was some people didn't think that Zimmer had the quote unquote balls to bench Rhodes. I didn't think it was really a balls thing as much as a being stubborn thing, or maybe thinking he could fix it. But I think it's a gigantic sign of Zimmer realizing what the problem is. I mean, it's right in front of him, so it's not like it takes that much. But for him to be that open and flexible to making that change this late in the season, I think is a good sign, despite the fact that it does show that he is basically saying that Rhodes is unredeemable at this point. But Hughes has played really, really well. My argument for starting Rhodes and then putting Hill in as well, Hughes and Hill in as well, is that, there's 4 games left. You got to kind of do a trial by fire thing and get him in there and get him some experience before the playoffs start, because, you can't trust Rhodes. And theoretically, it could have gone to, well, Rhodes is playing bad in the first half in a playoff game, so we have to put Hughes out there, but he hasn't had as much experience. So I'm very encouraged. I'm very encouraged by how well the defense is playing. They are playing a backup quarterback, but the Lions do have good wide receivers. Some of the things I was worried about before the game too, getting pressure from the defensive ends, but not from the defensive tackles. We're seeing both interior pressure and also the pressures from the D ends turning into sacks. Daniel Hunter, I think, has had 3 sacks in the first half, which is astounding. I think he's the youngest player ever to reach 50 sacks in NFL history. It's just been a really good first half. I mean, I'm happier than I think I would have been if not for that last drive. Being up 10-0, almost 10-3, with all the yards that they've put up. I mean, before that drive that ended in the missed field goal by the Lions, they had 21 yards of offense. 3 of their 5 drives, at that point, 3 of their 4 drives were 3 and outs. And so being up only by 10 points was kind of strange. But, I think we've seen yet again that the hurry-up, fast-paced offense works. Cousins likes it. Sure, on that drive that ended in a field goal, he didn't get the offense set, and that's his fault. As Chris Spielman said. I don't know what you guys tell me in the comments. I can't stand Chris Spielman. I know he's Rick Spielman's brother. He's a Big Ten guy, but and that was a bad play. So this isn't the best example of that, but he is so overly critical of these guys to the point of like demanding perfection. He's just too harsh. Again, not the best example. Looking at some of your comments though, and I have a few other comments of my own. Hughes looks solid, not outstanding, but good. I agree. Calvin75 says limit penalties. That was one of my other comments. You got to clean these things up, especially as we get close to the playoffs. Especially again that false start that was a 4-point swing basically. They picked up the first down on that draw play, and it didn't end up counting, so that was hard. Randy said we needed that last TD. We should be up by 30. Tank says these refs need to slow down the flags. Now that's the other side of the penalty argument, right? Like this crew of refs has thrown more flags than any other in the league. It's not a perfect science. They do have a very hard job. I did say when we did the hot mic live stream Monday night that refs don't get enough credit, and then Joe kind of made fun of me because then about 5 minutes later I was railing on the refs, which is my style. But it is a very hard job, and things happen very quickly, and you kind of have to make those quick decisions based on your experiences, so on and so forth. So I get that it's subjectively applied objective rules, right? And it's very hard to do, but there shouldn't be gigantic discrepancies in how similar plays are called, I guess. I've always been a fan of letting guys play. I've always been a fan of, I think a lot of people, myself included, got off this topic, but when the season started, a lot of us were talking about, how baseball has limited a lot of their stuff to make games go by quicker. You can only go to the mound so many times. Players can't pull a Chuck Knobloch, and after every pitch, regardless of whether or not they swing, they step off and they readjust every piece of equipment that they have, and then they do it over again on the next pitch. Football seemed to be going the other way with the pass interference reviews, which I think we were getting a lot more in the beginning of the season because coaches were testing out how it was going to be applied, because it was rolled out in a really, really NFL fashion, which is just see what happens, I guess, and not really thinking of all the possible ways it could be applied or how it would impact the game itself. And so I was at the Raiders game earlier in the year, and I hadn't been to a game for a while. I broke my foot and ankle the first season at the same day that Teddy broke his knee. And so I missed that whole season because I had surgery about 2 months after that, and then I was non-weight bearing for almost 6 months. And so I hadn't been to a game since TCF, and it just felt like there was a lot of sitting around, a lot of TV timeouts, a lot of play, flags and reviews, and it was just like, man, this game is taking forever. From a fan perspective, it's bad, especially if you're at the game and you're paying such a premium to do that. And, at home you have other things to entertain you. At least there's TV commercials there. You're just watching guys stand around. But from a player standpoint, it really can slow the game down. Obviously, the flags have a negative or a positive impact depending on what they are. But at the same time, you're running a hurry up. You want that, right? Because it tires out the defense. It keeps them having to call plays quicker and get in position quicker, and you kind of lose that with the amount of flags. So I would say that that's kind of my rant on flags at this point. Is the game back on? Sorry, I'm on Hulu. It's behind. I'll just chat with you guys after the game, but it's been a really great first half. I apologize in advance, but I'm feeling a really pro Cousins-y rant after the game. I have a new statistic, or a new set of information that I want to share with you guys too, that I came across last night. But let's go get him in the second half. Let's end this game. End up 9-4. Maybe the Packers will lose. Woo! Could be a good Sunday. It's shaping up to be anyway. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Check out the live chat too. It's on both sites. I'll be there in about 30 seconds.